Well, hey, everybody, Jim Hall, you ought to know. Welcome to another show, and take a look right here. This is Vail Ranch Steakhouse. Let me tell you, this is one of the prime places in Temecula Valley. We're in Temecula, California, everybody. In fact, you can look them up on the internet. It's Vail Ranch Steakhouse. Now, this is the place where they age their beef, so you're going to want to stay tuned for this particular show. If you want a good steakhouse, stick around, everybody. It's right here in Temecula Valley. It's Vail Ranch Steakhouse right here behind me, and we're going to take a look inside simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us.
Bill.
Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. And I told you we're in Temecula Valley, and let me tell you, we're at one of the restaurants here that has been voted by the Inland Empire magazine as best of 2010. One of the best restaurants, Steakhouse, as a matter of fact. Ron, introduce yourself.
My name is Ron Walton.
And Ron, you have a tremendous history, but first I've got to make a comment. Walking in Vail Ranch Steakhouse and this beautiful refrigerator here with this aged beef in it. Talk about that right off the top.
Well, we're one of the only on-premise dry-aged steakhouses in Southern California. I think there's a couple in San Francisco, and most of the dry-aged is done in Vegas is actually done by local purveyors taken to us. So we actually show our customers what they're going to be eating. We have an in-house butcher cut all of our own loins, cut all of our own steaks, and trim them on a regular basis.
Yeah, that was where I was going to go with my next question. In-house butcher, meaning somebody here all the time ready to cut.
That's correct. That's correct. We have our Miss Saws and our executive chef and sous chef, and they're all capable of doing this, but we actually have a butcher that we bring in 3 days a week, cut for us exclusively, and then if we need something during the course of the week, the chef will do it as himself.
Well, let's tell everybody Vail Ranch Steakhouse is located here in Temecula, but where?
We're actually located 27600 Jefferson Avenue, right between Winchester and Overland on, the west side of the freeway. If you're coming down the 15 freeway, you'll see our sign. Got to come back to either Rancho, California to get off and come back, or get off at Winchester and come off to your right and make a left, and we're about 3 blocks from the Winchester off-ramp.
Well, and this restaurant used to be, people may know it as many years ago, was what?
It was a Hungry Hunter, originally built a Hungry Hunter in 1982 or 92, but we totally gutted it about 8 months ago, and what you see is what we've got today.
Well, yeah, we have this. Now look, all this aged beef in here, aging, how many days does this age in here?
We serve nothing that isn't aged at least 28 days, and we use nothing but USDA Choice and Prime. All of our dry-aged steaks is Prime Greater Omaha beef.
Well, and then we've got this very beautiful wine rack. As you're greeted by a host or hostess here.
We have a hostesses and host, and on this side we keep all of our white wines. Our red wines are around the corner in this little banquet or meeting room over here where we keep all the reds chilled at about 45 to 50 degrees.
Yeah, and you can even take a look. We've got one of the two, and actually you have more than that because they can be divided up, but you've got this beautiful banquet area. In fact, you have a pharmaceutical group that can come in, you have financial groups that come in, and about anybody can use it, but you can seat 50 in this particular room.
Right, yeah, we're real big on wedding rehearsal dinners and the smaller banquets, like I say, up to 50 in this room. We have another room that'll go up to 75. We have squeezed 85 into that room, but it's more comfortable with 75.
Well, and then as you look around, I kind of have to mention this bar because as I walked in, not only did I see the aging beef here in the refrigerator, but then this bar where the bar is actually sunken down and the floor remains, you're at one level here. You got a piano player and music going, just very comfortable.
Thank you. Well, we have the sunken bar so that all the guests sitting at the bar are at chair height, and then we have the elevated back bar so we can have the piano player that plays during all dinner hours, Monday through Sunday, and on Sunday brunch we open at 10:30. We have a piano player playing for the brunch as well.
Well, you've got a big background in food service and restaurants as a restaurateur. In fact, you were a franchisee or a franchisor. Talk about that.
Well, I actually started a concept called Texas Lucy's Chili Parlor and Saloon in 1982, first store in Torrance, and then we had several locations that we franchised out. We still have the original Torrance store and one here in Temecula called Texas Lucy's.
All right, so you have that. Why this particular concept here, Vail Ranch Steakhouse?
Well, I have 3 other restaurants in town. I felt this was a good concept for Temecula, as it's a growing city, and there wasn't anything real nice as far as fine dining to do it. Nobody doing dry steaks at all. Even though the economy is not in our favor, it's certainly getting better, and we have a very loyal following in the short time that we've been open.
Well, people certainly do take to it. And we're going to get a chance to sample some of the food coming up. We're going to do some of that cooking. We're going to meet the chef, and we're going to experience, like I say, a lot of the food here coming up. Stay with us. We're here in Temecula at the Vail Ranch Steakhouse, simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us. More yet to come. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall in Temecula. I told you we're at Vail Ranch Steakhouse, and let me tell you, fantastic. You walk through the door, aged beef, and George, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm George,
And you are?
the executive chef here at Vail Ranch Steakhouse.
Yeah, I heard we have an executive chef, we got the sous chef, we even have a butcher here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's all about the steaks. Now, aged beef, what's the key about aged beef that makes it so good?
Well, the main factor is the time that it's aging, the temperature of the room, and also the humidity.
So all those factors play into how well the beef is really going to end up when it's served on the plate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so we talked about, Ron told us a little bit of the aging, about at least 28 days.
At least.
All right, now what's the secret? You got to tell me your secret. As an executive chef, what's the secret to cooking a good steak?
Well, the main key is always to have fresh meat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So as soon as it's cut, we don't like to go longer than 2 to 3 days after we butcher the meat before we cook it. Also, a high temp broiler works out well, so you get nice caramelization outside of the meat. And resting, always resting, because if you ever go to a steakhouse and you get a piece of meat served to you on a plate and you cut it open and it bleeds out everywhere, that means the meat wasn't properly rested.
All right, so when we say resting, it means you're going to broil it at such high temperatures. When you bring it out, you're actually going to give it how much time before it's served to the...
At least 5 minutes, depending on how big the piece of meat is.
Yeah. Now, what you've got here, what size? We got about a pounder there? What do we got?
This is anywhere from, it varies depending on the size of the loin. I wish we could, scale out the cows accordingly, but, cows differ. We go anywhere from 16 to 18 ounces on a bone in New York. And then the New York steak, which is pretty much the same cut with no bone, goes anywhere from 10 to 12 ounces. And then this is something we just recently started doing, which is our ribeye. And this is anywhere from 18 to 20 ounces.
And the key on a good ribeye is all that marbleization in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, the fat cap on the meat as it ages is crucial. So can we cut for a minute?
We can. Okay. Let's take a little break here. You're going to run right into the ovens there. And Chris, as he's doing that, take a look here. They're going to be working along. They actually need to get in there. But we talk about that aging process, at least 28 days of aging, and you can see the meat aging in the refrigerator. But, George, I got to bring you back out here just for a second. Talk about your background. How long you been doing this?
Well, I've been cooking professionally for about 8 years.
8 years?
8 years.
Okay, and you started where?
In Las Vegas, actually. I worked at an Italian restaurant for around 3.5 years. Very old school restaurant, so I learned a lot of the core methods and standards that are held in the kitchen. So, and I attended culinary school for 2 years in Las Vegas at Le Cordon Bleu, and been out here in California past 5 years.
All right. Well, Cordon Bleu is a name we're familiar with, and so is Las Vegas. But here we are in Temecula, Vail Ranch Steakhouse. Lobster coming out down there. We had to kind of move out of the way so they could come out. Look at that fresh lobster tail out there.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
16-ouncer.
All right. Well, show us what you're going to do for us right here. What are we talking about when we get these steaks ready to prepare to get in the grill?
Well, a lot of people have different ways of doing things. I truly believe that if you have good quality meat, you shouldn't cover it up with anything. A lot of people use marinades, a lot of people use rubs and whatnot, and a lot of people do salt and pepper. I believe in purely salt, and for a couple reasons. Salt enhances the flavor of anything, whether it be sweet, savory, sour even. Salt's the key ingredient in a lot of cooking. But the reason I don't use pepper is because pepper burns. And if pepper burns to such high temperature we cook the meat, it has sort of a off flavor to it. So
actually give you a burnt flavor on the meat then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, yeah, you do this in here, the executive chef, sous chef. How many people does it take to actually run this kitchen?
I'd say on a weekly basis, even day to day on the weekends, you're probably looking anywhere from 7 to 9 cooks, along with me and my sous chef.
All right, so you got a staff in here ready to go at it.
Absolutely.
I mean, and how many? Give me a rough estimate. How many steaks? That beautiful refrigerator out there, aged beef. How many steaks you go through a day, a week?
I would probably say at least, if we talk about dry age alone, I'd probably say anywhere from 125 to 175 steaks a week.
Well, that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
the more the better.
Yeah. Now we're headed for the tables here.
Okay.
Give me one of the specialties. What should I order tonight?
I would definitely recommend the ribeye. That's something that we've just started doing not too long ago. Actually, I'd say we started thinking about it 2.5 months ago, and we started actually going forward with it about a month and a half ago. And it's, if you're a ribeye eater, and a lot of people, they're loyal to ribeye. If you're a ribeye eater, I wouldn't need anything else.
All right. Vegetables are going on. The dishes are being all prepped and served up there. Look at that lobster again. Beautiful.
It's a big boy.
All right. George, thank you so much for talking with us.
Hey,
I'm headed for the table. I'm going to order now.
All right. Hey, I'll be here.
All right. We're here at Vail Ranch Steakhouse. Let me tell you, class location, class place, class chef right here. Top class all the way. Simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. We're headed for the tables next. We're going to order food. Coming up. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know. From Temecula Valley, that's where we are. We're in Temecula at Vail Ranch Steakhouse. And when you talk about class, food, dining, we've got it right here. Ron, this has been in existence how long now?
We've been open since September 1, August 31st of this year, 2010.
Right. Tom, introduce yourself to us.
I'm Tom Little. I'm the general manager here at Vail Ranch.
So we have the owner and the general manager here, and we've got this beautiful food. I mean, look at that. It doesn't get any better. Describe what we've got out here.
Well, we have our Greek salad. It's kind of a take on a Greek salad. We have the fresh feta, tomatoes, cucumbers, Kalamata olives, and a red vinaigrette, red wine vinaigrette. We also have our center cut loin veal chop with a potato cake. Chive potato cake, and we have our dry-aged ribeye served with au gratin potatoes and a vegetable tonight. We also have a different take on a New England clam chowder. Chef George makes clam chowder once a week. It's served with a shaved fennel and a little bit of fennel frond across the top, and it also has a little rye toast, a little take on the croutons that you usually see in them.
A little switch. In the background, a little piano music out in the bar, and we're in another beautiful room here. Describe this room.
We use this room on our evening dinners, lunch, if we have some overflow from the main dining room. This was an existing room from the prior outlet that was here. Ron had done the whole entire outside of this door had been redone.
Well, it's a beautiful setting. It just is the ambiance here throughout the entire restaurant. And Ron, total, the restaurant will seat how many?
Totally, I think we can seat about 255 people.
You certainly, we mentioned those rooms that you have available. People can come in, conferences, weddings, bar mitzvahs, whatever.
Yes, so we're also set up to do banquet, catering, and special meetings.
All right. Well, your phone number here, people want to make reservations. Number one, you want to do that.
It's area code 951-694-1475.
Reservations are suggested, especially Fridays, Saturdays?
Absolutely, anytime.
Yeah. And we're one of the few restaurants that does take reservations, so we recommend them and suggest that you make them.
All right, well, let's talk about websites. Website out there for you?
Yeah, website, vailranch.com.
Well, it doesn't get any easier than that. Just remember the name?
Actually, I better say it again, vailranchsteakhouse.com.
All right, vailranchsteakhouse.com. And you can go to the website, you want information about that. And again, that phone number for reservations?
It's area code 694-1475.
All right. Well, I've already bookmarked it in my phone, so I'll be having that handy. But when we talk about this restaurant here, describe your brunch that you have. We were showing me some of the menus.
Well, we have a kind of a unique situation. We have a plated brunch with a lot of old-time favorites, such as Eggs Benedict, only with prime rib and ham and crab. And then we also have a small buffet that's set up with sweet rolls, juices, fruits that you have and transition to your plate lunch. And it's a champagne brunch.
Champagne brunch, and that runs what hours then?
It runs from Sunday only, from 10:30 till 2.
And then you have a lighter menu before we get into the dinner menu, yes?
Yes, we do. We have early dining. It's $15 and includes your choice of a super salad. And it's served Sunday through Thursday till 5 o'clock, from 2 to 5.
And very much business community here. A lot of medical people here, a lot of pharmaceuticals in the area, so you get a lot of that business
We
in.
do quite a bit of pharmaceutical dinners in the evening in our special rooms that we have. While we also do quite a bit of our local business of coming here for their award dinners, special events, and just really for lunch and for dinner. Pleasure to have them here.
Well, we're getting ready to sample a little of the food, and as we get ready to wrap up this particular show, I've got to tell you, I've ordered the ribeye. It's in the menu there, aged, beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. One of your favorite dishes here, Ron?
Well, I have no favorite dish. They're all great. I love them all. But I'm partial to the dry-aged steaks. So all of it, like George said, we just started preparing the ribeye, which we hadn't done in the past. We've got it down to a science now. Everything is 28 days or longer, and it comes out beautiful. And you'll be able to tell when you taste it. It has a distinct aging flavor to it.
And one of your favorite dishes, if you're going to sit down and eat and enjoy yourself, not working now, you're off duty, what are you going to have?
I particularly like that veal chop. Yeah? It's very good. It's excellent. I also like our fresh fish. You know, we are a steakhouse. We feature our dry age, but we also have quite a few fresh fish items. We have I think you saw once in the kitchen, we have a 16-ounce northern Australian lobster tail, which is a very popular item for us.
I'd like to I'll mention also that we feature a lot of the local wineries here in Temecula. It's actually becoming a very growing wine area, and so we've got samples of most of the wineries in the area. So if people come out, they can try our wines here and then go to the winery and get themselves a case to take home.
Well, this is the area. I mean, this is really the area because this is associated with wineries. Hot air balloons, of course, are part of the culture here, and great food, and this is certainly a part of it right here. Congratulations on this one.
Thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate
Tom,
it.
thanks for having us down.
Thank you. Nice to have you here.
All right, we're going to sample the food, all right?
Please.
And we're going to be back to wrap up this show. Take a look at this food, everybody. Just fantastic. Why are we here? We're in Temecula at the Vail Ranch Steakhouse, simply because, like with all of our shows, we enjoy great food and letting you know about a great place to head for, simply because you ought to know. Stay with us. We'll be right back to wrap it up. Well, that's going to put the wraps on another show, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know, at the Vail Ranch Steakhouse in Temecula. And if you want more information, check them out on the internet. Go to vailranchsteakhouse.com. We've got everything out here. We've got the filet mignon over there Mary has. Caden's got macaroni and cheese and some clam chowder he's been working on. We've got the calamari, fantastic. I've got the ribeye steak. We're going to sample that. And we got the porterhouse out there. Chris is going to enjoy that one, so we're going to sample all the food here at Vail Ranch Steakhouse. Again, go to the website, vailranchsteakhouse.com. Better yet, come on down and try the food. Remember, call for reservations first. Get your reservations in and come down and enjoy the food. It's a class act right here in Temecula. And that's why we're here, simply because you ought to know. See you next time, everybody.